I still don't know if what I saw that year was punishment from the gods or a strange kind of mercy, but it all began with a prince who feared death, and a poor girl who taught him what real cleanliness meant. Prince Adewale was the only son of King Olayinka and Queen Morenike. He was handsome, tall, and had skin like polished bronze. But he had a sickness. People whispered that he had the curse of the white cloth. He could not stand dirt, he feared it like poison. He washed his hands every few minutes. He cleaned his bed every night before lying down, even when the maids had already cleaned it. Even the floor of his room had to be scrubbed with soap and salt water every single morning. He bathed 5 times a day, refused to touch anyone, and would rather starve than eat food cooked by another hand. He called it purity. We called it madness. The king, on the other hand, was a greedy man. He took food and land from the villagers, saying it was royal tax. He and the chief priest, Baba Esu, worked together to keep everyone afraid. They claimed the gods would punish anyone who disobeyed the king. His wife, Queen Morenike, was the opposite, kind, patient, and gentle. She was the heart of the palace. She pitied her son and believed marriage would heal him. So one day, she went to the market disguised as a common woman. That's where she met Tinuola. Tinuola wasn't born rich. She sold groundnuts under the hot sun, with sand on her feet and laughter in her voice. The queen said she had never seen a smile so clean. She chose her immediately. When the prince heard, he shouted, "You want me to marry a dirty village girl? Never." But his mother's voice was firm, "You've cleansed your body enough. Now cleanse your heart." And just like that, the wedding was set. Tinuola cried when she was taken to the palace. She didn't want to marry a man she didn't know, especially one who looked at her like she carried a disease. The first night, the prince refused to touch her or sit near her. He told her she must bathe twice before entering his room and sleep at the edge of the bed. She obeyed, quietly. Days turned into weeks. The prince treated her like air, no smiles, no kindness, nothing. I often saw her sitting by the window, looking at the moon, whispering songs to herself. The queen noticed her sadness and tried to comfort her. "Be patient," she said. "Sometimes, love grows slowly like a yam." But what none of us knew was that the king had also noticed her, and not as a father. One night, he sent for her under the lie of royal duty. When she entered his chamber that night, she came out pale and trembling. She didn't speak, but there was fear in her eyes. One thing is certain, he had tried to touch her. She avoided everyone for days. The prince didn't notice, too busy cleaning his hands and bed. But one afternoon, Tinuola was crying outside the palace. She didn't see the prince watching her from his balcony. For the first time, he came down and asked softly, "Why are you crying?" She wiped her tears quickly and said nothing. The prince tried again, looking somewhat guilty. "Please tell me what is going on, I am ready to listen." Tinuola looked at him and said sadly, "Because I am married to a man who doesn't see me." The prince looked down, ashamed of himself, gently patted Tinuola and went inside. That night, the prince didn't sleep. The next morning, he ordered that no one should clean his chamber. Even though it was hard, he tried to endure it. That evening, he laughed at something she said. And soon, he began walking barefoot in the palace garden, just to make her smile. Love was creeping in, soft and slow. But not everyone was happy about it. The king couldn't stand seeing them close. One night, the king sent guards to summon Tinuola again. But this time, the prince followed in secret. As he drew nearer to the king's chamber, he heard Tinuola scream. He stormed in like thunder. When he entered his father's chamber and saw the king trying to force Tinuola into sleeping with him, something broke inside him. He grabbed the king and shouted, "You've stolen from this kingdom all your life," he said. But not this. Not her. The old man laughed. You're still the scaredy cat who scrubs himself to sleep. And the prince whispered, not anymore. The king frowned and said, I have the right to own anything in this village, I am the king. But the prince said, and I am your judgment. Enough is enough. He lifted his father's staff and smashed the royal mirror, the one that represents the king. They said the mirror carried the gods' reflections and signifies the king's reign. That night, it shattered like the king's pride. The king turned red. He took his sword to slay the prince, but before he could do so, the queen ran in and stopped him. You are a disgrace to the royal throne. If you know what is best for you, leave the throne, go somewhere far and never come back. If not, I will have to kill myself in front of you. This king was frightened. It is taboo for someone to commit suicide in front of him, especially the queen, as this could lead to his death. And again his mirror was shattered, so he had no more right to rule. So he dropped his sword and slowly walked out of the palace in anger. Some weeks later, the prince was crowned king, and all the villagers were happy. The chief priest, the one who always helped the king in his greed, was banished. Years passed. Prince Adewale totally changed. He no longer washed his hands like a madman. He said, I learned that purity is not about soap, but about truth. He became a kind ruler, fair, gentle, and wise. And he loved Tinuola deeply. They had 2 beautiful children who played in the same dusty courtyard where she once cried alone. All the villagers lived in peace and thought nothing could steal their happiness, but unknown to them, an evil beast was quietly waiting to catch its prey. Watch out for the concluding part.